ahead and get started. My name is Elise Kirsch, for those who don't know me, and I'm one of the design engagement leaders for Monogram. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that we have two brand new appliance collections, the Statement Collection and the Minimalist Collection. This Statement is our transitional line. It's known for its really beautiful brass accents and brass touch points. And then our Minimalist Collection offers a really beautiful flush and minimal appearance. So if you haven't gotten to check those out yet, we'll send a follow-up on Friday, so be sure to click and learn more about those products. But just want to thank everybody for joining us today as we get started. I can't believe that this is our 7th or our 8th Wednesday Table Talk series, and we're super excited to have Laura Umansky and Gina Brown joining us today, two of the masterminds behind the Laura U Design Collective team. So before we just kick it off, I'm going to quickly pass it over to Courtney to give you guys a couple housekeeping rules. So Laura and Gina, show up large on your computer screens and you feel like we're actually all together in person and not still virtually distanced.
Great. Good morning, everyone. I know we have some new faces joining us on the line today, so I'm just going to go over a couple quick things to help you navigate the team's environment. Can you guys see my screen? Can I just get a thumbs up from somebody? Great, thanks. So this is, you have a toolbar in your team's profile, and I wanted to point out a few things. On the far left is the video icon. So if you have your makeup on, even if you don't, we'd love for you to turn on your video, say hello, give us a wave today so we know that people are out there behind those computer screens. The second is the microphone icon. So when I'm done speaking, we will mute everyone just to keep down that feedback. But if you have questions, we certainly want this to be interactive. So feel free to unmute and ask away when you have a question, or you can put it in the chat box. Next is the hand icon. So you can raise your hand if you have a question. That way we know to address you. And then this is the next little box is our chat box. So we want this to be interactive. We hope that you will ask questions. The easiest way is probably to put that in the chat box. So if you click this icon, it'll open up a screen on your right-hand side and enable you to communicate with us that way. And we'll be monitoring the chat throughout the call. Finally, this is where I need your help and I need you to take some action. I want you to click on this little 2-person icon. That is going to open up your participant window. And then when you open up that participant bar on the right-hand side of your screen, what you're going to do is scroll down until you find, I think you guys are logged in under Laura. Yes, Laura Umansky. So what you're going to do is once you find Laura's name in that participant box, if you can hover over those 3 dots to the right-hand side, that's going to bring up the More Options window. And then I would like you to pin Laura, and that way they will come up. Laura and Gina will be full screen. You'll get the best view of them for their presentation today. So make sure you go ahead and pin them, and then we are ready to get started. I'm going to turn it back over to Elise, and we will get started today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much, Courtney. Okay, well, Laura and Gina are here with us this afternoon or morning for some, to chat about the evolution of home design. So sadly, we've all been home for months now, and in talking with them, they said that they've really been getting some new requests and some different requests from clients with the layout and with how they're using their spaces. So we're going to spend the next hour just getting to talk with them. We have a lot of questions that have come in just from Instagram and whatnot. So we'll just go through some of those questions together. Before we jump in, I'm lucky enough that I have the privilege of working with them. And they've kind of been a part of our Monogram family for close to 5 years now. And we have done everything from a show house together to speaking engagements to photo shoots. And they really are the epitome of true partners. So we're really excited to have them here today. If you don't follow them on Instagram, be sure to, I believe it's Laura U Design Collective on Instagram handle. Yep. But you get to catch a glimpse of their beautiful work. And you kind of feel like lifelong friends with them too, because their stories are just super personable. And so we were going to dive right in, but be sure to go in and follow them. We'll follow up with their handle and stuff. So if you don't already, you can get into it. So before we start, Laura and Gina, will you guys introduce yourselves a little bit and kind of just share about your firm and your backgrounds?
Sure. Yep. You want me to go first?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I'm Laura Umansky. I am the founder and creative director of Laura U Design Collective. And I started the firm in 2007. And so we've grown to a collective now. There's 14 of us. And we practice residential building design. So we do new construction and renovation, which Gina Brown is spearheading that effort as our director of residential design. And then we also do interiors. So again, renovation, working with Monogram appliances, all the way through furnishings and to the smallest accessory, like your little glass jar that holds the Q-tips on your vanity. On your vanity. That's why Gina's here. She's like, Laura, work. Anyway, so we've been doing that for a while now, and then Gina joined us and is heading, like I said, residential building design. So you want to talk about
so
that?
I'm Gina Brown. I'm thankful to be here. Laura and I had collaborated together for many years before I joined the firm, and I was a participant in helping her create her own home, which was super fun, and we did that with Monogram too as a show house. But since coming on board now, we are offering to our clients new construction, design, renovation, remodel, and here locally in Houston, but also throughout the United States and abroad. So it's been an exciting year so far.
Well, yeah, for other reasons too, but yeah. Super exciting 2020.
A busy year, a memorable year that none will forget.
Oh.
Well, let's dive right in. To start, how do y'all make thoughtful design decisions when you have so many options to choose from?
That's a tough question.
It is a tough question.
Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll take it.
Go.
They're in the marketplace. There's a ton of good products. There are a lot of information for our clients. If you look at Pinterest and Instagram and Houzz and all these magazine resources. And so people, our clients, us, our team can be often flooded with a lot of information, but we really pride ourselves on honing in on what's best for the needs of our clients, specific to them. So our approach is curated specifically for that family, for that end user, for that client, whether it is like the furnishings and how they fit their body personally, or if it's a new home, how I'm laying out the spaces that work for their family to come home every day. We both have young children, and we know like the backpack entourage is a big deal. So when we're designing homes for families, we create spaces that are tailored just for those uses, so that homes stay organized and well laid out for how we're all experiencing them. So that's one way we really just try to get personal with our clients.
And I'll add to that and just say, yes, we do see a ton of different products and design ideas, and some of them are brilliant, some of them are not. So we filter them out from this really big picture for each and every client and for ourselves. And we just hone it through our tailored design process, like Gina was saying. And so we start big picture, and we're just making these decisions as we go. And I think it also just depends too on who you're designing for. So for myself, yes, it's a ton of information, and I've seen this over my 20-year career, but I can make those decisions really quickly for myself, because I'm like, I know everything that's out there, and I like this, which I think is maybe an anomaly for designers.
I'm opposite. I come to Laura and say, pick for me what I want.
Right, because I know what I'm looking for. So I'm like, that one is what I want. And then for clients, it just depends on their personality. We may show them 5 options. If we know that they're extremely engaged in the design process and they're savvy and they're really interested in going down that path with us, or they may want to do one thing, and we show them that best one thing that's right for them. So hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've talked about this over the weeks, but we've been making a lot of changes to our homes, and I'm like Gina. I'm like, what? It's my money, and so I'm like much more thoughtful. Like, is this it, or should I keep looking?
See, I think that's what it is with me too, is it's my money. I know exactly what my budget is. I know exactly what product is going to fit into that. So it's already way narrowed down. So I'm like, that's the one.
Well, going on that same topic, we have been, I guess, in lockdown for 3 months now or so. And I think we're all seeing that there's needs in our homes that need a change. So what are some of those rooms that you're hearing from your clients that they're wanting to rethink from like a design and usability perspective?
I mean, you want to go?
Yeah, take it.
Oh, you want me to go?
Take it.
I'll take it. Okay, and this is personally and from clients. So working from home is a necessity now. And I never thought my husband would work from home. And I've been asking him for 3 years to work from home. And it took a global pandemic to make him do it. But we have set up a beautiful home office. So obviously home offices are going to be a must now. I think the way that we use our mudrooms, like Gina was saying, that backpack brigade, like the kids aren't coming home from school right now, but there is still a lot of stuff. And there's this whole component of disinfecting before you come in from outside into the home. So I think mudrooms are going to really see, we're going to give more attention to those.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of kitchens as well. People are cooking at home now more than ever before, right? And I love to cook personally, so I know when I'm preparing a meal or getting things ready to go, prepping, I like my space to be my space. And so having circulation through the kitchen where people who are visiting with you while you're cooking, or kind of onlookers while you're getting dinner ready,
Get them out of the way.
Yeah, they're kind of out of the working space. So I am hearing a lot of requests for that from clients. We're also doing a lot of these like dirty kitchens or prep kitchens lately.
You have the beautiful like show kitchen.
Yeah, your show kitchen, and then this like workhorse room that has some really cool appliance pieces that we're doing in there. People are embracing this like cooking from home a lot.
Yeah. So kind of going on that same point, Gina, in the kitchen, how do you integrate appliances into cabinetry and millwork and stone in a way that's seamless? Because I think that's something that I've been taking away, is you kind of want that hidden a bit more so other components in your kitchen stand out.
Sure. And I think it's really dependent on the aesthetic of the home and the client's preference, whether we're going to leave that stainless exposed or would we do a panel front on something. And I think both options can be a really beautiful presentation if they're handled correctly. We actually study appliances early on in the design process. So from very early conversations with our clients, we're asking them, what appliances do you use? And some things can be very specialty. We have one client right now who is very much into wok cooking, and they need a special burner for that. And so incorporating that into the design early on really makes that like everything transition really seamlessly. We're we're really big here on doing our own millwork drawings. So everything that you see produced from this company, cabinetry, paneling, vanities, all of that has been created in this office. And so a lot of that is a very thoughtful understanding of how the construction of the pieces happen in coordination with the appliances. So if we're paneling the front of all the appliances, how does that lay out really cohesively with the adjacent functional cabinets, right? So those are things we consider from the minute we put pencil to paper. Or mouse to computer, right? Whatever.
Yeah. I love that. So as we keep going, I kind of want to name a few different, I'll call it a few different rooms or usability areas, for lack of a better word. And just want to ask kind of what you're hearing, how you think people will want to rethink or reuse that space. But hopefully this doesn't happen again, but I feel like storage has been a big theme the last few months. So when it comes to storing food or water, toiletries, how do y'all design for bulk storage?
So I'll jump in really quick. It really, if we're doing a renovation, so new construction is different. I'm a renovation nerd, as you know, because we did my house together. So I have a basement, which is really rare in Houston. And so we use that for storage. So that's really nice to have those large dedicated spaces for storage, which I think you need on every floor of your home. As far as like intentional storage from new construction, you can speak more to that than me.
So we're, even in renovation, a lot of times we're trying to borrow space for that, because if we're renovating, the home is older and that square footage just wasn't there. It didn't exist in that older style of living. So a lot of times we're getting really, really clever. We're using, hidden storage compartments where we're pushing into walls where we can do, even shallow storage for like beautiful drinkware, and doing a beautiful pair of like steel doors with glass and set in them. So it becomes a feature, but we're using sometimes as little as 6 inches to store things. In new construction, it's a much more involved process from the early phases. So a lot of our clients request luggage storage. Those are big, bulky things that you don't want to have to drag down.
They're everywhere. They end up in a guest closet or like an attic, and you're like, where is that?
Exactly. So making the luggage storage easily accessible to the master closet is a big deal for us. Also, things for like tennis rackets and golf clubs and those sports closets, and something that a lot of people forget about is pool storage, like the noodles and the blow up unicorn, which we both have one.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. I hate that. It's amazing. And it's why we're so tan.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, especially you, Laura.
But it's like, where do you put that stuff? And so it's our job as creative people and very thoughtful people to our clients to incorporate those from the onset of the design.
And I think going back to that dirty kitchen versus show kitchen and like bulk dry storage, that's going to be important after this. After, I guess it was about mid-March when we started locking down, we were still walking through with clients and they were frantic. They're like, where am I going to put all these things that I'm hoarding? Like, what am I doing with this? And so we really did. We walked through with clients, the design team would walk through with clients and talk about, okay, where are we storing like all of this bottled water for this emergency and all these canned goods that we may need. So yes, I think that this dirty kitchen, extra pantry storage, butler's pantry with extra dry goods storage, that's all going to come into play even more now.
Yeah. Okay, so on that, what is your dream pantry? I knew I was getting older when I got so excited about little containers that I could put my flowers into, but what does your dream pantry look like?
It's huge. I would say it's a whole room.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, counters for days and like small appliances are in there.
Yeah.
And
I'm a nerd for cooking. I love it. I love it. And so I'm not. Everything in the clear container. I want to see it. I want a beautiful label on it.
See, I just want that for aesthetic reasons. I never use it, but I'm just like, God, that looks good.
That too. But then I want, this is how much of a nerd I am. I want an herb drying rack so I can pick my herbs and dry them there, and bins, a big bulk storage I do
for your root vegetables.
Some veggies, so I want to bring them in, wash them, a washing sink for veggies and things like that. And
that would be awesome.
Yeah. And then appliances that can stay out and there all the time that aren't as attractive, like your Vitamix or, toaster.
I hate looking at my toaster.
Yeah. I do too.
Yeah. My pantry now, it's I envision this huge room that I would want. Mine is small. It goes very small version of that huge room I would want. But it does have the countertops and it has the rack bins for root vegetables and everything is organized. But it is chock full because I was a hoarder at the beginning of lockdown. So now I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
I think for me, especially with this, I don't like bringing bags in from the grocery store because I feel they're contaminated. They have germs on them. Even in the non-COVID world, I was that way. I want a little stainless steel island to put all that on when I bring it in, and then I can just sanitize it to death,
Yes, that's good. I need that. I just put them on the floor, the bags on the floor, and then sanitize as I go and put away.
Okay.
And then I take all the bags and throw them away, but it's on the floor, so you're not touching that.
Right. I just don't want them on my
I need a
working
countertop. I need a stainless countertop.
Yeah,
that's going to be huge, Elise. Stainless countertop.
The sanitation countertop.
100%.
We're going to trademark them right now. Write it down.
Patent it.
No one's ever thought of that.
No. Yeah, that's why they do it in restaurants all the time. Nobody ever thought of that. First one right here, all this brain juice.
Exactly. Hey, some of our best ideas come from the what word am I looking for? Commercial kitchens. So
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what about mudrooms? I know y'all talked about the backpack brigade. I know even for me, I feel like I'm always, there's the purse, there's the keys, there's everything kind of should have its space. So what makes a great mudroom? How are you seeing people kind of want to upgrade those spaces with our situation?
So, well, we've always, not always, but in the last 10 years, probably maybe more, done locker space. So that every family member has a dedicated locker. So you know who to blame when stuff is out. Like, you've got a locker, it has a name on it, put your stuff in there. But shoe storage for sure, because I think, in large cities and in European cities, people do not wear their shoes into the home, and it's just not done. And I think after this, you're going to see more of that. So we're going to need more shoe storage, and putting that away so it's not in the way.
Right.
But I think, like you said, it's a place for everything. So we're going to have to start thinking through what else is coming in here that needs to stop at the door.
I like to have also like a charging station in each locker, because I like a place where devices can be tucked away in the evening, and even for myself, put away in a dedicated space. Also in bedrooms, like a big deal for me is like bringing in things like the groceries and things like that, and not having to
like
carry
a staging zone.
Carry it all the way through the house. And
I think bedrooms are going to get bigger too. So the ones that we design now are really generous, but I would say my house is a renovation, so my own mudroom is very small, and I could see it being like a 10 by 10 room.
Yes.
It's just a large scale space. In Texas, where we have that kind of space, obviously in a city apartment, that's a different situation. But I think we're going to get more innovative in the way that we're storing things too, and use those vertical spaces. And like you said, going into walls and just taking that, space between
every
studs.
inch we can. Yeah.
That's true. I know for myself too, we've been going on a lot of walks, which we're leaving our front door, but then when we come home from the grocery store, we park in the back. And so it's almost like multiple dedicated areas too, depending upon how you're using
Drop zones and places to wrangle things and hooks for leashes.
Pets is a big deal. Dog kennels,
Building
where does a litter box go? Things that we're getting a bunny at my house, believe it or not. And so like, where does the bunny go? The bunny's going in the mudroom.
Yeah.
The questions you never thought you'd ask yourself.
Never.
We do built-in dog kennels quite often though in a mudroom. And that's just so it's not an afterthought. It's really nice to have a dedicated space.
And dog food takes up a lot of space. So I love to do like a pull-out drawer with a bin with a lid on it, that's integrated into the cabinetry. It's just all tucked away and clean.
Yeah. On the topic of tucking things away, I feel, well, for years and years, this open concept has been really popular. How do you feel like that will change now that we're spending more time at home? How can you kind of make those individualized spaces, but still incorporate that within open concept?
Sure.
Go for that.
I think, for me, I think there's a lot to be said about connecting architecture to the exterior world. And because we don't want to have homes that have all these dedicated rooms that we're using, I call it on the Thanksgiving room, like the one thing you're using on, one time a year. For me, the more we can integrate, big sliding pocket doors to the exterior, or do a beautiful loggia with, fans and maybe a fireplace out there, other spaces that you can escape to that are still part of your home, that are kind of a dual purpose use. Also, we're pretty clever about coming up with ways to partition those open spaces if needed. I don't really see the need for, or the request for open living going away anytime soon.
Yeah, same.
I just see, how can we multi-purpose spaces to accommodate us being at home more?
Yeah. And that Thanksgiving room became my husband's home office for
Right.
a while.
Right.
Which was nice because we used it every day. But yeah, I agree. But I do think now that we're locked down at home right now, and we may be again in the future, who knows? I mean, that having those spaces for each family member to have their own space is important. I have twins at home, and they definitely need their own space. When they are together too much, it is a bad scene. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think we're lucky enough that we have space in our home that they can separate. And then my husband has his workspace. I have my workspace. I don't think open living is going away though, for sure. But I do think we're going to see more dedicated escape spaces.
Yes, to that, 100%.
Got to escape your spouse when you're locked in the house.
It's a lot of togetherness is what I'm learning. So, well, Gina, this might be another question for you, but one of the questions that came in via social media was, how can I renovate my kitchen footprint for better functionality? I feel like you could probably talk for an hour just on that topic, but is there some easy takeaways, or I feel like you probably need a full renovation to do something like that, but general question to you.
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, I think one of the big things for me is getting the flow of guests or visitors in the kitchen away from the working spaces of the kitchen. And so a lot of times that can be achieved with double islands or just placing those working surfaces on the outer edge of the kitchen so that people aren't walking by or interrupting the flow of the person cooking. Mm-hmm. Another big thing I think is having, yes, we need these big like bulk pantries, mm-hmm. but also I love to do like a day pantry and a kitchen, which are things you need to access regularly and frequently right there, you know, at your fingertips, mm-hmm. right? So like, because I cook so much, I want a drawer that I pull out with like all my fancy oils and my spices and think like right there on the Johnny on spot kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think those are things that can be integrated. Storage and internal functional spaces of the cabinetry are things that can be integrated even in just remodeling what you have. You know, with the right design team, they can come in and look at that with a very discerning eye and an eye that's not specific to how you're already using it, right? Mm-hmm. So when we come into a space, it's total fresh perspective. And we're sitting there looking at it like, hey, where's your cutting board going? Right. You know, and so we're even doing like integrated pull-out cutting boards and fridge drawers. Those are.
I was just gonna say that.
Popular. Those are a lifesaver for me and my family too.
Yeah.
Yes. Our refrigerator drawers are amazing.
Mm-hmm. And so like locating things too that are dedicated to function. So like, where's all the beverage action happening? Yeah. You know, ice maker, the fridge drawers, the wine fridge.
When you're saying like separating the working space, and you don't want your kids coming in for a snack, that they could easily go over here and get out of a refrigerator drawer under your feet if you're like opening a hot oven. Exactly. So it's also that kind of consideration, just a flow and who is actually using this space all the time. Yeah. What are they doing in this space? Yeah. My kids are going to come in and raid the kitchen 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. And so they're going to be in the way unless you think through these details.
Yeah, that's really good. For me, the kitchen is the #1 place that I've realized, and we need some just shifting as a general category for me.
Because it's easy just to shift. You're just shifting.
Yeah, if like just shift a couple walls out of the way.
No big deal. We're shifting things.
Yeah. Okay, so last but not least, as far as rooms and spaces, but the master bedroom. So, how can I make it more of a sanctuary? How can I better use that space so it's a retreat and not, you know, another place to work or whatever that looks like?
So we're designing a home right now, and it's new construction, so we had a lot of leeway here, but the master suite really is a retreat. It's he has his own meditation room off of the master suite, and there's no TV. So we're thinking through that. That's always kind of an argument or something I tell like clients to take offline, like go have a glass of wine and fight this out. Do you want a TV in your master or not? And also I think just having it not be off the main, if you can, from new construction, not have it be off of a main room, like having it down a hallway or a nice vestibule. So it's very separate. You're entering this sanctuary of a space, and it's just a private and secluded space. We're also doing some coffee bars and like morning bars in master suites now. So everything's kind of contained within that room. So it's your bedroom. It's also oftentimes a sitting room. So where you can retire in the evening, you know, you shut the downstairs or wherever, you shut the rest of the house down, you retire to your master suite, and you're there for the evening. You may have like I said, a beverage bar, meditation room. So yeah, I think it's evolving.
I agree. A lot of the other considerations that we put into like master suites are closets, and a big conversation lately around, do we want a big shared closet with, you know, couple spaces, or you know, do we want a dedicated closet for each person?
Right.
And then what's the circulation of that? And if one person wakes up earlier, one person's a night owl, you know, if this sitting room is in there and they decide on a TV, how do you buffer for the other person to feel comfortable? So there, we have a lot of internal dialogue around that when we're doing design work. And I mean, I personally love like a beautiful chaise lounge in a master. I mean, it's just classic and timeless. And who doesn't want to recline on their chaise lounge in the evening and pretend that they're somebody, you know?
Right.
That's awesome. So I know that people, we just asked for some questions, so please don't hesitate to send in some questions. We're going to kind of shift a little bit to questions that we got from Instagram stories over the last few days, but anyone that's listening, please don't hesitate to raise your hand and ask a question or send it in the chat area. But one last thing, I will say the most popular question that came in was about flooring. So between everything from tile to hardwood flooring to the mistake of putting cherry flooring into their home. And so as like a general bucket, I guess that would fall under Gina. Can you just talk about flooring and kind of how you make your selections?
Sure. So from a construction standpoint and like a technical standpoint, if you are looking at a hardwood floor, there's all different options, and it can be really confusing. So there's laminate flooring, there's veneered flooring, there's solid wood, hardwood flooring, there's engineered. I mean, there's 1,000 different options. So I prefer to direct clients to a floor that's going to have at least 2 to 3 lives out of it. Meaning if we, you know, if aesthetics change later or we remodel later, there's enough veneer on that material that we could sand it down and restain it later. You need a minimum of at least 1/4 inch to do that minimum. I prefer 3/8 if you can get it. So when you're looking at products from a technical perspective, that's kind of more where I come in here. That's how I direct clients. So even the person who wrote in about the cherry wood, if there is life left in that wood, it could be sanded, bleached, and restained and retained without replacing the entire floor. A lot of times for a less expensive, you know, option than just replacing it outright. So, and then from like a selections.
Yeah, and I think, well, that's an important point, is you can actually bleach those hardwoods that have gone out of style, that are very orange or really red. You can bleach them to take that red orange tone out. And then it's been trending that everything's been more of that gray, kind of cool gray. I think we're going more into warmer tones like sham beige and more like grayish taupey right now, but you can get that gray tone out of those cherry floors, but you do have to bleach it, and it's a process. And you have to work with someone that knows what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Right now, as far as flooring, if we're talking about wood floors, I think the most popular, at least that we spec, is walnut, but then also riffs on white oak, because it's very, or even just European white oak that's not riffs on, just plains on. Because it takes that sham beige or that grayish stain really, really well, and it's kind of just a neutral backdrop. So that would be the most like trendy thing, I think.
So too. And always, if you can, get the widest plank available to you for your budget material. One of the things that can easily date a wood floor is going with that 2 1/4 inch wide oak,
which is actually hard to get not hard to get, but not as
Yeah, it's not as popular anymore.
yeah, but yeah, or
um,
like tiny planks. It may be inexpensive, but you're not getting those long planks of wood. You're getting like these tiny little choppy planks. Don't buy that.
I agree. From a tile perspective, actually, we're seeing a lot of requests for like wood look tile. And there are some really good looking products out there. Keep in mind when you do tile, especially in a kitchen, that surface has no give under it. So if you're not wearing shoes in your home and you're working on a tile floor all day, it's going to be kind of harsh on your joints and your knees. So
Get your house shoes.
Get your house shoes, get some like rug cushions, get one of those like gel mats to stand on if you're doing a lot of prep work. That will help with that. If you want the durability and look of a tile, but just know you're going to have some challenges with that on the body.
And I love marble in a kitchen, on a kitchen floor,
Yeah.
which everyone's going to be like, what? But my own kitchen floor is marble and I don't worry about it.
No.
Just from a holding up perspective, I don't ever think about that.
No, because like you have to be okay with it's going to patina.
Yes,
And it's a living
and I'm fine
finish.
with that. I like patina.
Yeah, we love that. A little age and character on things.
Little grit,
Well loved.
little age, little character. Exactly. That's what we want.
Mhm. So a question that just came in was, while we are embracing this new world after COVID, what are some immediate and future actions that y'all are looking at or taking as a design firm? A little off topic, but.
So as far as coming back into the studio, I'll address it just like coming back into the studio. We are practicing social distancing, except for me and Gina, because we're together all day, every day. And we're just being careful. But everyone here we have masks at the front door. We have hand sanitizer at the front door. We're still holding client meetings via Zoom. So we're not meeting in person. We do go to site visits. And when we do, we wear our masks, we hand sanitize, we stay distant from the clients, but we're still, construction in Texas never stopped. So our jobs didn't, while some of the country did shut down construction, it was considered essential here. So our jobs kept going. So we've been on site with our clients and builders, and we've just been cautious about that.
Yeah, I think
we're just following CDC guidelines.
Absolutely. And being respectful of anyone who has wishes beyond that and accommodating them accordingly.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I know y'all have always had a big social media presence as well. Do you feel like, in terms of whether it's connecting with your clients or some of those other things, do you think that will continue to grow? Or like, do you have any thoughts just around that like general bucket?
About social media and communicating with clients? Yeah, I think that it'll, we have a really robust social media presence because Melissa Grove, who's one of our leadership team members, and Madison really do a great job. Like they kill it on socials for us. And I think that that's been really important actually to keep in touch with not our current like active clients, because we all talk to them every day, but our past clients and potential clients. I think it's a great platform to be able to really stay in front of them and have that connection daily. So I see it growing.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so back to a couple of questions from the audience from over the weekend.
Are we frozen, Elise?
No.
Okay. You're frozen.
Oh, am I?
No, you're frozen on one screen, but let's keep going.
Okay.
I was gonna say, hopefully, it always catches you with like the most awkward face. Never I.
Yeah, it does. I'm
while
sure
you're smiling and looking your best. Okay, so to go back to some of the finishes, how about selecting lighting? Are you seeing any changes with us spending more time inside with like natural light? Or LED versus halogen and some of those, kind of how do you make that selection for the perfect lighting and the perfect fixture?
So LED is definitely where we're headed, be it recessed cans or tape lighting and cabinetry, accent lighting. Even on our interiors team side, a lot of the fixtures that we're specifying now, the bulbs are LED. But there is something very attractive and warm about an incandescent glow, right? So in LED, there's different color temperatures, and we work with our clients and the aesthetic of the home to specify what that is. So if it's a warmer light, like 2700 Kelvin, you can go all the way up to maybe 3500, but that's a pretty white blue light. That's more commercial applications. But in a closet, maybe you want that. You know, you want your colors to render true in a closet. You don't want to do what I did one day and wear a navy top with a black pants. I mean, that's, then you just pull it off like you did it on purpose.
This is navy, this is black. They don't go together ever at the same time.
Unless you have a
or
camera,
the worst.
they make it work. But so the other big thing in lighting, and there's a product, and I don't mean to like call out other products, but it's awesome. It's Ketra, and it is designed to change with circadian rhythms. So it's this whole idea of home health and we're all in these artificial lights all day long, right? And so in the morning, this light bulb is warmer as it would reflect the sun rising. During the middle of the day, it gets whiter, and then at night, it actually turns cooler as your body starts to, you know, kind of decompress and slow down. And I would love to work with Ketra in a whole house. It's a goal of ours for the year.
Yeah. Someone had just asked on that, what type of bulb is it for Ketra?
It's an LED bulb, and it's actually purchased through Ketra specifically.
Cool. That's awesome. And then another question that just came in, I guess it kind of shifts off of the lighting discussion, but what color trends do y'all see coming?
Okay, as far as color, I think we're getting warmer, cozier, earthier again. It's been a while. We've been in the gray, blue phase for 10 years now, I think. And so now we're warming up, but still very gray. And like I said, sham beige, which is like that champagne beigey color. I think we're still going to see a lot of light, white, bright spaces. Yeah, but I think we're warming up now.
I do too.
More khaki, not so green, but you know what I'm saying, like more
tawny.
Yeah,
you know, all those tawny.
I do always feel like y'all are never afraid from color or pattern or wallpaper, like all of those things.
We do all of this. We can also do some pretty neutral spaces. It's really client centric, but I think we're getting a lot more requests for earth tones right now, which is new. That's pretty new. Yeah. We saw it coming maybe a couple markets ago. You know, we go to several markets a year. So we go to High Point, and we went to Maison Objet this year. And so I think, you know, we're seeing that go just a little warmer.
Cool. Again, just kind of bouncing everywhere with these questions. So sorry, there's not a rhythm to it, but we had a question come in about a dream office. And this person's, they said that they love lots of books and mementos. How do you recommend having all of those things that they love without it feeling messy?
Great question. Yeah, that is a good question because it's tough. Like staging shelves and accessorizing is really a tough thing. And I know that there are rules around it, but I do it mostly by intuition and balance. So I also like to, if you have a lot of family photos and things like that, I like to group them together as more of a
collection.
Yeah, it's more of a collection, and it's intentional and thoughtful, and we're putting things that make sense together. And also framing them similarly. They don't have to be exactly the same, but just going in and don't overdo it too. So you don't want so many things. It's good to go in and place everything and then come back and kind of cull and edit and maybe even sleep on it, come back with fresh eyes, cull and edit again. It's a tough process, I think, actually.
I will style my shelf, take a photograph of it, walk away, look at the photograph.
You're gonna see things you wouldn't.
Right, you'll see things that you didn't see. And my other advice is don't put things up like that don't have a meaning to you. You know, don't
just
buy
because you have like a little tchotchke, it doesn't have to go on the shelf.
You know, make it mean something to you, and then every time you see it, you'll enjoy it. It won't be just clutter. And I think that's really important. And I've had people say before, oh, well, I don't have that many things. You know, I haven't collected them. That's okay. You know, buy some really great books that you love and stack those up until you collect more things and you can style those shelves. Don't put things up just to put things up.
Don't feel pressured.
Right.
No pressure.
A gorgeous candle on a top of a stack of books goes a long way.
Yep. Oh, and plants. I
Yes.
love putting plants in shelving and little lamps. I love plugging in like small accent lighting and shelving just because it's different and it's not just like books and, you know, picture frames. You're also putting things in that are maybe green and have some life, and then light, which has some life.
Yes.
And yeah.
You're speaking my language with plants.
Yes.
Sometimes fake.
You're a plant lady.
I love the plants.
I love the plants when I don't have to take care of them.
Also true. I have recently invested in some plants and then I very quickly killed them. So
We have to find the ones that are going to live for you, like the ones you can't kill.
I know. I have started looking for the tag that says hard to kill. I'm like, that's up my alley.
That's the thing. And so that's what you would put on the shelves.
Exactly. But doesn't need attention.
Yes.
Well, the last question, and everyone, please keep sending them in. But I know we're getting close to time. So the last question that came in for us is, and I think this would be directed towards you, Laura, but can you talk a little bit about layering? I feel like it's kind of a word that you hear a lot in the design world, and how that really completes a space. So any tips or things that can quickly go wrong or things that you do for layering?
So yeah, I think layering is what adds richness and interest to a space. And there are some aesthetics that you would use like layering techniques and rugs and things like that differently than others. Layering, I think, is really important in lighting too, just from a technical standpoint. So we do a lot of layered lighting. So if we have recessed cans, we also want to bring lights down to human level. So we're going to have table lamps and floor lamps. We'll have sconces on the walls. We're going to have dedicated art lights. So I think layered lighting is incredibly important. We do layer textiles too, but again, that's aesthetically driven. So, you know, in some homes that are contemporary or kind of soft contemporary, we're going to layer textures more than pattern and color. If you're going eclectic, we can layer pattern on pattern on pattern and color on color on color. So I think there are so many different ways to do that.
I agree. In the bones of architecture, how layering transpires is with ceiling heights, you know, so it's boring to walk into a home and everything's the same ceiling height, except maybe you've popped up the great room. So we really want this experience of compression and expansion when we're walking through our homes that we've designed. And the other thing is through different textures. So if a home is brick or stone, you know, how is that balanced with potentially like a beautiful siding or even metal or aluminum as a veneer? You know, those things are all considerations. And
you didn't say stucco. Do you hate stucco?
I love stucco in the right technical application. It needs to be properly cared for.
Just wondering.
And we're in a hot, humid climate, and stucco was designed for an arid, dry climate. So if it's treated properly, it can perform really, really well.
She doesn't like it.
I specifically love like an integral stucco. It's just smooth and gorgeous, and it has this modeling. It looks like artisans did it. That can be really handsome. But no, I mean, we have to design for the climate and the performance of the building. And so we'll always steer our clients, even in rugs and fabrics, you know, if it's a younger family, we're going to provide performance things.
Yeah. That's good. This has been awesome. I can only speak for myself, but I know there's so many spaces that I just wanted to just use a little bit differently now that we're home a lot more. So my TV room isn't just a TV room, it's my workspace and it's closest to the internet. So it has really become my workspace, but I appreciate y'all's time. I say all of that to say I really appreciate y'all's time and just walking through different rooms. I think this has just been very applicable and helpful as we kind of start to move forward from everything. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting.
Thank you, everyone.
Monogram and Elise and everybody. Thanks so much.
It's been fun.
Awesome. Well, hope to see you guys in person soon and all of that. Hopefully we're together.
I know.
Sounds great.
Same.
Okay, take care, everyone. Be well.